Emotions cannot cloud your judgment and decision making when it comes to what's best for the company that employs you or that you own. The peer that's still a peer and not in management starts to try to use your friendship as an opportunity to get ahead. Don't confuse being cordial with a desire to be liked. Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the Morning Dig podcast. I want to talk to you guys about friendship in business. You know, a lot of people, like growing up, your parents might have told you, you know, money and friendship don't mix. Three's a crowd. You know, all those like just sterile, cliche phrases. But, you know, in reality, I think the money one really hits. And what I mean by that is, in business, I see a lot of new leaders fail because they often get thrusted into a leadership role straight out of a subordinate role, meaning that they were just another member of a team doing their thing, and now suddenly they're the leader of that team, or they're the leader of their peers who they were just the week before out drinking beers with on a Friday night, having a great time like friends would do. But now they're tasked with telling that person, you like holding them to a standard and pushing them to be better. And that doesn't always work out well. And in my experience, it generally never works out well. Unless you were friends with that person long before and like you guys are able to, and this is a very rare friendship, I'm talking maybe 3 or 4 true friends in your life could manage this. And the likelihood of you working together is slim. But often what happens is the peer that's still a peer and not in management starts to try to use your friendship as an opportunity to get ahead and uses it to not have to do the work they're supposed to do or get away with mistakes that they shouldn't be making. And as a new leader, you're still in that position of, oh, I want people to like me. And you confuse being liked and being respected. They're two different things. If you want to be liked, go get a dog. If you want to be respected, you need to treat people with respect, but also hold them to a standard and live that standard yourself. When it comes to staff and like the decision to go out or do things or blur the lines of friendship and business, money really doesn't mix. These people that work for you, they will act like your friends a lot of times because maybe you guys do have stuff in common, but ultimately because they think it's going to benefit their lot in life, their position in the company. There's going to be some sort of benefit from being friends with you. You have to identify that I don't need you to like me and I don't need to be friends with you, because in the end, emotions cannot cloud your judgment and decision making when it comes to what's best for the company that employs you or that you own. And you can't cloud your judgment when it comes to whether or not that person is living up to the standards necessary to maintain a position there. So in that respect, it is okay to be cordial. It's okay to even go out and enjoy a dinner as a team or, you know, be cordial in that manner. But don't confuse being cordial with a desire to be liked. Who cares if they like you? Really, who does? Who cares? As long as they respect you and they do the things they're supposed to do and they meet the requirements necessary to be employed there. Not everyone's going to be your friend. And honestly, the higher up in the ranks you go and the more prominent your position, the less friends you're going to have. And it really becomes important for you to filter out any noise, anyone that doesn't really fit the mold to a high degree, because everything else is a distraction. So if you're struggling as a leader, if you're struggling to get people to do what you need to do, you really need to audit whether or not you're more concerned about them liking you than respecting you and doing what they're supposed to do. And if that's the case, got to change that relationship. Got to set some boundaries, got to set some standards, and you got to be really clear and concise with what you expect. And that while you're not going to disrespect them, you're going to expect what you expect of every employee. And if they can't handle that, you know, obviously the writing is on the wall with what's going to happen next. So time to clean it up. Respect over being liked. That's the bottom line. Hope it helps. And as always, keep digging in.